Let's do this.
What? Do what?
Hi.
Hello.
What do we gotta do?
Well, I don't know if we got to do anything other than be here and talk to chat.
Xenophonetic, did you step on a Lego?
Yow. That's how I feel when I step on Legos. Ow. What's up, T-Schmidt? How's it going?
Rain Vomit, thank you for the resub.
Yes. 37 months is a long streak, my friend. The Lion Creative, hello. How was your stream on Friday? I hope it went well. A blue horror? Why are you stepping on blue horrors? That's not what's supposed to happen with those things. Been drinking?
T-Schmidt, that's a bummer.
Well, huzzah, huzzah! I'll
Those
just
beginning
throw
of the
back my
year, back to
legs and
school,
pollute my britches with delight.
sicknesses. Pretty common. Hopefully it's easy and you guys all get over it really quickly.
Line Creative made affiliate on Sunday. That's
nice.
Exciting. Congratulations. Yesterday, dropped it, stepped to see it on it instead.
Dang kids, bright home a sick. Hey, Schmidt, you feeling alright?
I feel like it's a very weary Monday. I feel like everybody's just kind of having a rough one today. My last night did not lead into a good evening of sleep for me, which is awesome. I just like got home after a long day, and then the power went out.
A long day of playing cards?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Power wasn't out too long though, was it? We got
That doesn't count.
No,
notification.
it was up for about 45 minutes, maybe.
yeah, because we got the notification.
Oh yeah, I guess you're in the area here. The building went out, so that would affect you too, maybe.
Yeah, I was like,
I never think about that, but
I
you're
don't
really
know
close.
what the heck I'm gonna do. I was like, do I just like go out to a super late movie and wait until the stuff clicks back on? So that was like a weird 45 minutes.
Yeah, thankfully it wasn't that long.
Yeah. But it kind of like, you know how those kind of things can like disrupt the flow of your evening, and it kind of just like settles weird. That was kind of how it ended up for me. So I was just kind of like in a funky mood for the rest of the night. I think it's time to do the last couple of touches on our lady over here.
Power wasn't out in the entire state.
No. In the whole
It was
state?
really,
Oh
it
my
was
God.
a pretty small area. It said, when we got the notifications, it said something like 5% of customers in your area are reporting service outages or something like that.
Our whole complex went down
Yeah.
last night. So it was funny because I never realized that people do this in apartments, but literally everybody had their phone flashlight turned on, cracked open their door, and like stuck
Looked
their head
out to make sure it wasn't
because I did the
them.
same thing,
Yeah.
and I saw like 4 people
Yeah.
down the row.
It's like, okay, it's not just me.
Yeah, my neighbor across the way did the same thing.
It's the best way to meet people.
You know what's funny is he and I were talking about that.
Whose phone is ringing?
Is it me?
Not mine.
Not me. Is it?
It's over there.
Oh, it's coming on the iPad,
Wait, what? What the heck?
right?
Oh, weird.
Because the ringing wasn't my phone. My phone's off, so it was ringing through the iPad over there by Jen.
That's weird. Yeah,
It's
mine's
tied
on
to my
mute.
account.
Oh, I got it. But yeah, it was funny. I talked to my neighbor across the street, or across the way, and we talked for like 30 minutes because like I had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, it's really funny that this sort of thing conveniently like gets me to like
Meet your neighbors.
meet my neighbors. Yeah. And he was like super nice.
Yeah.
And we chatted for like a solid half hour, and then we were like, all right, I'm gonna turn in, and then power turned on like 15 minutes later or something.
Yeah.
It was just funny, but a weird way to like end the weekend. I was just like, oh, this kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And then I realized like 5 minutes after the power went out, I was like, oh, that means I lose AC. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, that actually sucks.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
I was
moving.
Yeah. I was like, oh no, this is not great.
It's fine.
I mean, it ended up being fine. I couldn't complain. How are you gonna paint your funky, weird demon guy?
The brush. But don't bump.
You're not gonna use a paper towel?
Should I?
Yeah.
It's a new
Broken
challenge.
Chef, that's awesome. Broken Chef said, gotta brag. Took third in my AOS tournament over the weekend. Sadly lost to an amazingly painted Lumineth army for best painted.
Nice.
That's okay.
Those Lumineth armies, when they're painted up really nice, look pretty spectacular. I've always wanted to paint one of those armies, but I don't have the time. Well, I can make the time. I don't have the inclination to do so right now.
I was gonna say.
Paper, stop being silly.
Lion Creative, they should be fine because the gift card is not a discount, so it's just your payment method.
It's like money.
It's like money.
T. Schmid started his own scale gel today,
Uh-oh.
but he said he's super close to just dry brushing it, calling it good.
Oh, no.
The sacrifice?
Don't dry brush the
Please
side.
don't
No,
tell me.
I don't think he's doing this out. I think he has something like a mermaid or something.
Okay, good.
Like,
Please.
I don't want to hear about somebody dry brushing the sacrifice. That makes me sad.
I mean, it could be done.
It
but
could be done.
Let's not just go there first.
Yeah, a mermaid, he said.
Oh, it's the mermaid. Which I think is also a Mindworks model. I think you were saying that it was a Mindworks miniature that you're working on.
I also don't know that he was completely serious about dry brushing it.
It's T. Schmidt.
Maybe though. I don't know.
Super close to dry brushing it, calling it good. Whew. It is. Yeah.
Guys got a lot
T.
of
Bailey. Hello.
The biggest problem with 3D printed models, like we were talking about with the privateer press stuff,
Mm-hmm.
is that you can get away with so much more than you can with
Oh, the details. and
traditional,
stuff,
yeah, with your detail overlap and stuff like that. So I have a great respect for people that can do 3D models for print that don't fall victim to that whole, oh, look what I can do.
It's true. It really is true. Because it is super easy to fall victim to that.
There's too much.
Cribbly bits.
Yeah, this guy is very difficult to prime. All put
Oh, because
together.
he's got so much.
He's got a lot of overlap
Yeah.
and crap going on. But
Broken Chef, yes, Percival is waiting on piles of bodies.
yeah,
Yes.
I got word that they are that they're in Arizona. So, you know, I hate when companies tell you something that was shipped from California is in Arizona, so you'll see it soon. And then you go to the tracking information and says, it'll be here the day after you leave for Nova.
Oh, no.
I'm like, but you just said it was in Arizona. Where's it in Arizona? Like, just over the border?
Obviously not close enough.
Yeah.
Was it free
That
shipping?
sucks.
No?
Oh.
I mean, maybe? I don't
I mean-
remember. Etsy generally has, like, shipping minimums, like you order enough and you get free shipping. I don't remember. I only got a couple things, so maybe
Yeah.
not.
They,
It was like a body pile and the group of loose bodies that go with it. So it wasn't that much. I mean, it was like maybe $14 worth of stuff, so probably not.
Broken Chef, there will be no stream for the bulk of... Well, next week we'll be back.
Yeah, you guys are back Monday.
It's
Monday's
this
a
week.
holiday.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Monday? Oh, Monday is a holiday.
Monday's Labor Day.
Labor Day.
Yeah.
Labor Day weekend.
Omicron Samurai, hello.
That tells you how well my brain's working.
I'm going to have to jump out. That phone call was a guy who was supposed to send me a Zoom link for today. He did not, so I didn't have a calendar spot for him. And I'm assuming now I get to hear why the Zoom link didn't come through.
Yeah. I can clean that out if you need to run.
They fly out Wednesday. Wednesday, come back Monday.
He kind of flies out Thursday, too.
He flies out Wednesday.
11:30 p.m.
11:30, that's still Wednesday.
I don't think that counts.
It'll be Thursday by the time he's there.
Still Wednesday.
gonna
The
take
question was
the-
when do you leave for Wednesday?
That's
You leave
true.
on Wednesday.
That's true. That
Or leave
is a
on- leave for
legitimate
Nova.
answer.
You leave on Wednesday.
Well, huzzah, huzzah. I'll just throw back my legs and pollute my britches with delight.
That's the crazy
T.
thing.
Bailey,
is-
thank you.
Oh.
That Twitch Prime.
Aha, T. Bailey. Thank you. Omicron, how's everyone doing today? I'm doing pretty good. Not doing spectacular, but I'm doing pretty good. Seems like a...
Did he leave for a phone call, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
It seems like a pretty rough Monday for a lot of people. Oh my gosh, Big Bobzilla for 76 months? How do I turn it off?
Just click in the top left or top right corner.
I hear Alt F4 works pretty good.
Well, huzzah,
Oh, this is
huzzah.
Jordan.
I'll just
Hi.
throw back my legs and pollute my britches with delight.
I paint things.
Jordan's he's an okay painter,
I'm okay.
so we have him here. We let him paint on our stream.
You guys let me paint on the stream. Begrudgingly, they let me hang out here and paint sometimes.
T. Bailey is a good friend because he calls me young lady.
I was wondering.
So
Nice to meet
he
you too, T.
scored
Bailey.
some points there.
Yeah, there you go.
Just Jordan and Jason will be at Nova.
Mm-hmm.
Not just like they're insignificant. That's why they're like the most important people here. But yeah, it'll just be the two of them. And there's no booth. We don't have a booth. We're just
Yeah, we'll just have a couple of tables where
they'll
we
just be painting.
Yeah. It's really just going to be a let's check out Nova, see what it's all about, and
We
hang
are
out with folks.
sponsoring the Capital Palette painting competition,
We
though, which
are.
is a pretty big deal for us.
That is, yeah.
So they'll
very
be hanging
exciting.
out by where people drop off their entries, right? Is that
Yeah,
where you guys
right,
are?
right
Yeah.
across the way, I believe, from where all that's happening.
Xenophonetic is wondering what should be used for undercoating a rusty pipe.
Undercoating a rusty pipe,
Yeah.
mahogany works really good. Mahogany would be a great option for you there.
I can't see that name in dark blue. It is Big Bobzilla.
Well, huzzah, huzzah. I'll just throw back my legs and pollute my britches with delight.
Broken Chef, thank you.
Thank you, Broken Chef.
Zambies, oh hi.
Well, hi, Zambies.
Were you talking to Jason?
I know it looks an awful lot like I'm not doing the thing that I told you that I would do today, but I promise I'm going to get to it after stream.
What were you supposed to be doing today?
the gift cards from
first,
her stream.
okay. So Zambies was her when she says, "I just emailed you back."
Yeah.
It was you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was talking to Zambies earlier
Okay.
today. Um, how's stream is doing just dandy.
We just started 17 minutes ago.
Yeah, Jason was here, and then he
No,
wasn't.
he's not.
He may or may not be back at some point. We will find out. To be continued. Until then, I get to mesmerize you all with Snake Lady. So yeah, Zambi's putting me to work.
Good. Yeah,
Good.
keep him busy. Keep him out of mischief.
Am I a mischievous person? Oh, okay, all right. I guess I'll have to work on that.
Omicron Samurai used the new Dark Bronze today, and wow, it's awesome. Glad you love it.
Here's the important question, Jen. Is my mischievousness a good thing or a bad thing?
It's
Am
endearing.
It's
No,
endearing?
You're not
Okay.
You're not mischievous at all.
I can settle for endearing. For those of you who might be interested in what I'm doing right here, I am adding some of the green colors that I used in the snake.
I see that. It looks
to the
like the snake
reflections.
is looking in a mirror, kind of.
Yeah, because it's silver, right? So it should be reflecting the things around it. And while I didn't do a lot of it, like I didn't put red from this feathering stuff in there, I do want to put the snake, because the snake is like up in her face, so it should be reflecting a little bit there.
Awesome, Zambies. That's the best one.
You found a unicorn patch. Nice. Got it at Adepticon.
That's fun. He was here for like 3 minutes and then he left.
Yeah, he was here for like literally. He got here, he primed up a model, and then had to leave.
Broken Chef has a good question for you, Jordan. I've had terrible luck using Pro Acryl on a wet palette. They tend to separate. Any rough ideas to try to troubleshoot?
Use less water, especially if you're in a humid area. I can get away with using a lot more water in my palette because it's so dry here. But generally speaking, a good rule of thumb when you are filling up your wet palette for the first time, like when you're getting ready for a paint session, is like totally fill up your wet palette with water, get the sponge fully saturated, and then pour out all the excess water once it's saturated. And that'll be enough paint that you won't run into issues with it absorbing too much. The other part of this as well, and this is even more important, is make sure that the top part of your paper does not get wet. So you don't want to, like, a lot of wet palettes will have you like dampen the sheet of paper on both sides before you're painting on it, and you don't want to do that. You just want to have you want to lay the paper on top of the damp sponge, and you want to leave it like that and put your paint on top of that. If you add water on top, you're going to get way more of that beading. Your paint's going to get way oversaturated. It's really bad, so you don't want to do that. Wad Tomato, what's up? How's it going? T-Cat, what's up? Good afternoon.
Hello, everyone. And
Hello.
Source does. Aloha to you, too.
Aloha Source. Zamies, I'm surprised you get your paint to work for multiple sessions. I always just use, it's like one session and I'm done.
Yeah, I think they're not meant to be used for multiple sessions with
for,
acrylic,
not with the kind of acrylics that we have. Yeah, if you're using like paste acrylics on like a Masterson's wet palette or something like that, that's really what it's designed for.
It is coming on here.
It is coming through there.
But I didn't hear it over here the last time.
I heard it over there.
Yeah, it didn't ring on this over.
That's weird.
Like the sound didn't come out.
I think it might have been on ring and you put it on.
Well, it is obviously connected because it just rang here for a second and then he probably answered it. So.
That's funny though. Your last like 4 hours on a wet palette, I can get like a good solid 4 to 6 hours out of mine, no problem. I usually run out of space by then, generally, because I'm like terrible and I just, you know. Oh, Zambies. Okay, yeah, you get a little bit of extra water in it, but they're thinner and you just mix them back up. Yeah, metallics are weird when that happens. Get some of this.
Have any of you who use wet palettes ever tried not using a wet palette, like a paper or glass or tile or anything like that, and just using less paint? Like you just put less paint out? Because it sounds to me like people want to put a lot of paint out on the wet palette and then use the wet palette to save it for next time.
Yes, a lot of people like to do that.
Right.
I don't use it for that. I use it because I like to do big, broad blends, and I'll pull from different parts of the blends to get color from different places, because it's a gradient that I'm building. So that's why I use a wet palette, because it gives me a little bit more working time on that kind of painting. But for, like, if you're trying to get multiple uses out of it, it's not as good for that.
And I think that's where people sometimes run into issues with Pro Acryl on a wet palette, because they don't require a lot of thinning.
Yes. They most certainly do not.
I mean, I don't paint very much, but I have never used a wet palette. I would not know what to do with it.
For the most part, you just stick your paints on it.
I mean,
it does most of the work for you.
Yeah. I only use Pro Acryl, so.
Yeah. Let me get some of this warm flesh. That'll work. Yeah. What's up, Tim? Yeah, since you don't wet the top, it's been working better, Despawn. Yeah, I don't know what's happening with your coal black. That is not how my coal black bottle here reacts when I use it. It's very odd.
Maybe needs more shaking? I don't know.
Then the shade color back out. We're gonna glaze down this.
Source, I'm with you. It seems like a lot of work.
What, the wet
The
palette?
wet palette, yeah, getting it ready. And,
It's not
yeah.
that bad.
That's all right. It's people who like it and it works for them.
Then
Have
power
at
to
it.
you. Yeah, power to you.
Xeno, I can't remember. Oh, big terrain pipe. Got any next steps for Xenophonetic after mahogany?
Oh, I thought you were just looking for like a base coat. Or are you looking for like the whole thing? Because I can give you a recipe for the whole thing. I just thought you were trying to look for like what base color to use.
I think that was the original question.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like what base would you use for?
yeah, what should I undercoat a rusty pipe with?
Yeah.
Mahogany.
Mahogany is a good answer. Get a little bit of this blend smoothed out here.
Death Spawn said, Baby J, can I ask your opinion on what to do with a plasma gun I'm trying to fix?
Yes, you can.
You can
I
always
will
ask
answer
questions
questions.
here.
Yeah, I love answering questions.
Oh, and Zeno would like a full recipe.
Okay. Yes. Go ahead and ask about the plasma, and then I will, or I guess whichever one of you.
Well, Xenophonetic was, you were already kind of.
Yeah,
going with that one.
I'll finish Xenophonetic because I think
Yeah.
Despon needs to explain what the problem is.
Yes.
So go ahead and explain what the problem is, Despon. I'll get to you in a second, and then Xenophonetic, I will explain a good recipe for.
No,
brown
Sandslaker, they are not.
stuff.
They are not related.
Wait, is Baby J Jason's son? Most definitely not.
And thank you for the raid.
Thank you for the raid, Widow Goblin. Hello! How is it going?
It's a widow raid.
It's a widow raid
widow
from a widow
raid.
goblin. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, raiders. We are Monument Hobbies.
Pet's dinner.
If you've never been here before, we make the wonderful Pro Acryl paints. This is an upside down bottle. I probably shouldn't show that one.
They're very rare, exclusive.
They're very rare and exclusive to Monument Hobbies HQ only. But yeah, we are painting wonderful snake ladies. We are no longer in scale jail. We have escaped.
Hey, somebody likes us.
And we are putting the finishing touches on this model today. So I can take it to Nova Open the day after tomorrow. Which sounds like fun. I'm excited for that trip. That'll be great.
Non-stop painting for like 4 days, right?
Yeah,
pretty much. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, I need to
Yeah.
prep some stuff to take to paint on. But yes, it's gonna be fun. To the rest of
Well,
that
huzzah,
question.
huzzah.
Okay, yeah.
I'll
So
just throw back my legs
I
and
got
pollute my
sidetracked with the
britches
raid.
delight.
Okay,
Yes,
so
it's the
Xenophonetic.
pipe, big pipe with
You want
mahogany.
rusty pipe.
Rusty pipe.
Okay.
Hey,
So
somebody
start
likes
with.
us.
You can probably do the same undercoat. Actually, just use this recipe. Hold on.
Odd one
Let
indeed.
me
Thank you
grab
for
the
the
thing.
sub.
You grab the
J.
thing.
Caesars. J. Caesars. Thank you for the follow.
Let's steal this one because it's better than mine. All right. So this here guy, he's a troll. But this is a great workup that you can use for rusty anything metal. Now you can go further than this and you can use less metallics so you can get more of that rust coming through. But this workup is very simple. It is Wait, no. It doesn't start with mahogany, although you could. It starts with burnt sienna, stippled over the metal parts of the model. Stipple burnt orange on top of that. And then stipple some yellow ochre on top of that. And then you do a light dry brush of dark silver. And then you do a light dry brush of silver. And that is this. So that's a great way to get this sort of rusty effect. You can see that the super light dry brush lets a lot of that brown stippling come through. You can see some of that yellow ochre on the tip here is good. And you can see it a lot more in like the crevices here. So you can do that. Or if you want it to not have any metal or metallic showing at all, just don't dry brush the metallics. And you just leave it like this. And it'll just look rusty. So this is a great option for you if you want to do rusty metallics.
It'll actually work better if your burnt orange has the label the right way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well.
That one was a little bit flawed because of the label. So.
Yeah, we have the signature upside down bottles here. So that is what I would do for that. You can also do the same thing with bronze. You get the same sort of effect. I put a little
Ew,
bit of blood
bloody.
effects on him as well.
That looks so realistic as blood.
Doesn't it? Yeah, that's just dark crimson.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing else mixed into the dark crimson.
The splatters on his face are just
Creepy.
I can picture the scene that this happened.
Yeah.
I've seen that on movies.
You've seen it in a movie.
Yeah. Which yellow? Yellow ochre?
Yes, yellow ochre. This guy. Ba-ba-bum. Fantastic color. I use this for like a gajillion things. Source asks, can I use the glaze and wash medium to create my own Acryl contrast paint? Yes. You absolutely can. That is one of the things that the glaze and wash medium is so fantastic for doing. There is also, by the way, for this bronze and for the steel that I just put back over there, we have shorts on YouTube, and I don't know if they're still on Instagram.
Yeah, they don't go away.
They don't go away? Perfect. Yeah, so you'll still be able to see those.
You just will have to dig for them more on Instagram.
Yeah, and they're just a really short demonstration of me painting those same effects. And then we have a methodology for both of these that are, I believe they're both up. The steel one we did a while ago. But
all right, and then Despawn, it's a picture in Discord, so I don't know if you're able to look
I
at
have
it.
my phone, so I can pull the Discord up.
So it's the yellow one. I've since used translucent black to cover the OSL and dull it down, but the main plasma still looks not glowy at all.
Which, is it in work in progress?
Hobby
Yes.
Help.
Hobby Help, okay. Hobby Help, Hobby Help. Okay, the first thing I see is, I think I made it worse.
Oh.
It was a photo of the thing. Hold on. Oh god, I need to go through all of these. Okay. Was it on the 25th? Yep, there's the I think I made it worse.
Butts 1000, we'll get to your question next.
Okay, so basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to achieve yellow glow, right? So the best way to do this, I wonder, do I have a model that I can
Well, that's
test
not
this
exactly
out
accurate.
on? Do I have a thing that I can do? Oh, yes, I do. Fantastic. We're going to do a quick demo. It's demo time with Baby J. I can sing because he's not here.
Yes. Sing more.
Sing more.
Dance, too.
We're gonna dance, dance, dance. He's gonna be really mad with me when he gets back here. Jen's gonna think it's hilarious, though. Alright. So, we're gonna do this not with transparents. We're gonna just do this with regular golden yellow and some white. And then the other thing you're gonna want is
Despawn,
orange.
are you ready for this? This is for you. I just want to make sure that it's not going to be one of those, oh, I had to step away for a minute. Can you do that again?
You best be at the computer right now, Dustspawn. We don't want you to miss it. Like last time. It was Despawn last time.
I
right?
don't know. Was it?
I think it was Despawn last time.
I know it has happened multiple times before, so.
I was looking at your texture pastes. Are any of them fine enough to use a 6mm sand? Yes. You would want to use probably either the ultra fine concrete
Concrete.
or the snow. So we have like a fine texture, which is going to be the bulk of the colors that we have are available in fine, and then we have ultra fine, which is our concrete, and we have ultra, or not ultra fine. It's what's the intermediate?
There's fine, super fine, and ultra fine, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
There are two levels of fine below fine.
Concrete and snow are the two.
Concrete and snow, I think, would be your best bets. Snow might be a little too soft, but concrete might be really good.
Despawn said it was me for sure. We will watch the recording.
Okay,
Okay,
so
here it goes. This is for you.
this will be a little bit different, but we're going to do these little rods here. I wonder if there's... Oh, no, we'll just do his shin, because it has the little ridges like the plasma coils. Yeah, we'll do that. That's even easier. Okay, so he's going to have a glowy shin for some reason. But don't worry about it. It's for demonstration purposes only. This is not how I'm painting all of my Gene Stealer cults. I promise, chat. Alright, so, like usual, you're going to start with a base coat of white. Luckily, our Bold Titanium White is fantastic, and it covers really fast and very easily.
What if it looks cool? Yeah, maybe this will be a new trend. People
Oh my
will walk
gosh.
around with glowing shins.
Dancing. Oh my gosh, that sounds awful, but also hilarious at the same time. Maybe this will look really good, and this is just how we're gonna do all of these. We're gonna do this here, so we can show you what it looks like on smoother surfaces as well. So, one of the tricks with yellow plasma glow is you want to use a little bit of like a warmer yellow, or a green you could even use as well, to add a little bit of additional shading to the surface or to the recesses of your glow, or to the raised edges, depending on how you want to do it. Technically speaking, most things, the hottest point is going to be the inside, not the outside, and the hottest point is going to be brighter. So technically it makes more sense to have the outside, like the raised edges of the glow, be... It depends. If the plasma coils or whatever are exposed, then those are going to be the brightest. So if the ridges are the coils, then yes. But if it's like something glowing from like the inside of like these or something like this, the inside bit on the around this raised detail would be the glow, like if it was glowing inside. Just base coating this up real quick. But you do want to make sure you get a really nice solid coat of white on there. So usually you want to do 2 nice coats. I don't randomly have... Fortunately, I have no Space Marines around here with a plasma gun. At least within a reasonable reach. I would not be surprised if Jason has a plasma gun lying around here. So, we get that nice coat going on. And this will be very similar to how I paint the lightsabers on stuff. So, if you go back and watch the lightsaber short that we did, that'll be another good demonstration on how to do stuff like this. That predominantly uses the transparent paints because they work really well for this sort of thing. But in the event that you don't have transparent paints, you should get some because they're fantastic. But we're going to use these colors for now. Upside down. So, we're going to start with golden yellow. Get just a little bit of that on a palette. And we're going to thin this down. And we're going to go back to that shin later because it's still drying. But this looks to be dry. So we're going to paint over the white, and you're going to get a really nice, glowy, vibrant yellow. we're just going to paint it on like so. Oh, that wasn't quite dry. That's and don't worry too much if you go a little bit over, because we're going to clean all that up later. Now we have our yellow glowy bits. Alright, so from here, we need to figure out a way to add some extra shadow or depth to the light. We're going to do that with a little bit of warm yellow. Now, you could stop with just the warm yellow. I personally like to put a little bit of orange in it, but we're going to see what this looks like with just the warm yellow. But if you really want it to be like yellow yellow, then I would just use the warm yellow. So we're going to have the bottom little bit here. Add a little bit of this warm yellow.
Desmond is still with you.
Excellent. Glad that you are still here. I would hate for you to miss again the explanation. All right. And you can see on this cylinder, I'm hitting the bottom part of the cylinder. I'm going to hit the top part of the cylinder. And where it connects to these edges here, so the cap here, and so the cap here, and the cap here. And then for the shin, we're going to thin down this warm yellow a bit more. Might even add a touch of the glaze and wash medium. Make it a little bit more transparent. Thin it down, thin it down, thin it down. And then we're going to layer this over the edges and the recesses. Now for me, I want a little bit more color in there to make it a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to grab some orange. And I'm going to mix just a touch of orange into that warm yellow. It does not need a lot, because this orange is much darker and much more orange than this warm yellow is. So it does not take a lot to get you to a place that is visually different. Why do you get scared when I thin the paints? Now learn how to thin your paint. But we're going to hit just a little bit less of that top area here. The edge of the casings here. And the goal is to make this like a subtle, like, touching point to where these like rods are connecting to, because we don't want this orange to overtake the yellow.
Well, and let's go back to that. When you thin paints, I get scared, and make sure that you feel okay about it. And if you have questions,
so what about thinning your paints scares you? Because if we can get you to a place where you're comfortable thinning your paints, that's good.
it'll be a game changer.
Yes. We'll solve a lot of problems for you. You can see how this almost wash that I put over the top of this foil, kind of hard to see, at least on my monitor. Hopefully that's more visible. Jen, how's it look over there on your monitor?
It's looking.
Can you see these like gradients of
Yes.
orange? Okay, cool. My monitor needs to be tuned up a little bit because I can't see them very well. I know they're there because I can see
They're
them.
there.
Okay. And then while that all dries on the bottom, we're going to take some yellow and some titanium white, and we're going to mix it. And we're just going to put it towards the edge. And you can bring it down the middle a little bit as well. See, I'm just bringing it down, but you can still see some of this orange on the sides. That's what we want. And then the same thing down here.
Yeah, and remember that you don't want to necessarily put the water into the paint on the palette. You want to drag the paint out when you thin it.
And then for the cylinder, we're just going to hit this middle part here with the brighter color and leave the outer edges that are touching the kind of like caps on the sides with that orange. And then we're going to go next with just pure titanium white. And we're just going to put some hot points at the very edges. And if it ends up being a little too hot, you can bring it back down with a small subtle glaze of the yellow to bring that white down a little bit. But you can see how these look like they're glowing now. The other thing I can do too, which I think will help the visual look of it, is I can paint over some of the edges of these things. To clean up some of those areas. Clean up some of that overspill. Got some into that glowy bit there. Need to clean it out. Take a damp brush and kind of wipe it away. Is what I usually do. But you can see now how this cylinder looks a lot more glowy and looks a lot more yellow now that I took away some of that edge glow that was getting onto those other pieces. Now you have a really nice glowy orbs, or like little test tube things. And then on the shin, we're basically going to do the same thing. So we put all that shading in there, and now we're just going to take our golden yellow, or I'm sorry, yes, our golden yellow and titanium white mixture. We're basically going to draw little lines on top of the little raised bits. You're going to want a nice fine brush when you're doing this.
Dustbomb would like you to post a picture of this in Discord. when you're done.
Yes, I can do that. We're going to go back again. And we're going to leave some of the bits on the side exposed with that kind of in-between color. So that we're just hitting the center middle bit. These little raised edges. And we can go back and we can paint the edge. Making sure to leave that orange in the recesses. And then you have a nice glowy shin plate. And if you want to push it even further, you can take some of that orange directly, you thin it down, and you can, well, I probably shouldn't use it. Need a thinner brush. Take some of that orange, and you can line those recesses a little bit more to add a little bit more depth, because it's all about the level of contrast that you have between the glowing oils and the depths of the recesses. So you can kind of play with it back and forth until you get a nice mix of the two, where you get the nice glowing plasma coils and your shadowed orange recesses. And you can take your white at the very end, and you can do your final little lines over the center of the plasma coils. So that's just a really rough example, but gives you an idea of how to approach it. So that's that. I will take a photo of this and post it on the Discord Despawn after stream. And then as far as like mixing paint is concerned, I can just pull the, not get paint on myself, for one. Just pull my palette out here. Full screen palette time. We can zoom out a little bit too. So when I'm mixing up a glaze, right? This is our golden yellow. So I put a lot here. Grab a better brush for this. So I'll grab a damp brush, grab a load of this paint, and then I'll just add a little bit of water. So fill my brush up with a little bit of water, get it on there, and then I can test it on my thumb, right? To see how transparent it is. That's still a little bit more opaque than I'd like. So we're gonna add a little bit more water to it.
Oh, so maybe it's different on a wet palette than what we do on like a dry palette. Because Jason will he'll pull from the pile of paint, he'll pull some paint out and then add water to that.
Yeah, what I do is I pull some out and then I build
you
a
just
separate.
move it into a
yeah,
separate.
I don't draw.
Gotcha.
Like I don't do the line thing that he does.
Okay.
Mostly because this is more saturated with water because it's coming up.
Wet palette, yeah.
So water will come here and it'll flow back into the big pool.
Gotcha.
So I want to keep them separate.
Makes sense. So it is different for the palette.
It's a little bit different, yeah. Also, thicker paints will behave a little differently. They'll need more water, but it's the same deal. And the nice thing is you can see the transparency when I'm like pulling the paint out like this, because you can see on this part up here it's a lot thicker and you can't see as much of the paper as you can down here. And then it's the same thing. I just tested on my thumb. And that's pretty transparent, right? So that's usually how I will do it. And you'll see like I have these all over the place. But I still have like the one dot here, right? I have the dot here, I have this here, I have these here. So I do the same thing that
Gotcha.
Jason
you
does.
Just move it because of the
But
palette.
I tend to blend over a larger surface.
Yeah.
Just that's just how I paint. If you blend over a small surface, like if you blend in this sort of like, if you can do this, and then you're like, perfect. That's awesome. I don't blend that small. I usually do it over a larger surface like this. But the wet palette lets me have a better working time on stuff like that. So that's how you do that. I hope that helped. Was that good information for your brain?
He said, "Thank you, good sir."
Excellent.
So,
good sir.
and now that he's got, and if you post a picture, then he'll be able to watch it back as reference, and then see the nice crisp end results.
Fan freaking tastic. Back to Snake Lady. I should probably zoom in so you guys can see what I'm doing. Yeah. Mix up. Trying to get a nice highlight color. Bring up this non-metallic metal just a touch more. I think this is going to be a good one. Here. Test out a little bit on my thumb. And then we're going to just apply it. I'm trying to work a little bit more color and brightness into the headdress, but I gotta be careful that I'm not overworking it, because it's pretty close to being done. I built up a lot of layers of paint on this already, so I don't want to go too much more, but I just felt like it needed just a nudge. Trying to get all these little details. She's got so many little ridges and stuff in the helmet. I'm trying to make sure that I get all of that defined while not making it too defined, if that makes sense. I don't want to overwhelm the details. I can't line some of these in with these. Just taking a slightly, this is almost like a mid-tone color.
Well, Death Spawn, why did you do that?
What did it do?
That I basically... Oh, wait, you mean the first time? Or you just did it again the exact wrong way?
Darken up this color just a touch. We're going to use this more towards the sides of the helmet, the headdress. And we're going to go here, this side. And then we're going to take white with a little bit of yellow.
Did you say that there are videos on making contrast paint with Pro Acryl on YouTube?
No.
No.
We do not. Not yet. We will be getting to doing stuff like that in the future, for sure.
Avian, hello.
There's a lot of video content that we want to do. The thing is that stuff takes time to both, you know, structure,
Baby J's
edit,
only one person.
and record. Yeah. and the thing is, I'm only one person, and it requires more than just me to do
Exactly.
it. Right. It'd be one thing if, you know, I came in every day and that was just what I was doing.
Right.
It'd be a lot easier to get that stuff out, but I have a lot of other responsibilities as well, and also I need like one or two other people to like edit it and record it and do all that stuff. So some of it I can do pretty easily. So like the shorts you guys get every week, because those are the easiest of the things for us to record. Because I can just come in here and I can just sit here and record me painting stuff, and the editing is not too crazy.
I believe you're right, Death Spawn. I believe that Ninjon did one a long time ago where he used this way before glaze and wash medium, but he used contrast medium and the transparent paints. So if you look at Ninjon's YouTube, you should find that.
But now that we have the glaze and wash medium,
Yes.
it's even easier.
Yes. Dustbon said, yeah, the first time it was wrong. I guess I was trying to do the bottom white and the top dark. I'll flip it and see if it looks better the Baby J way.
Do it. Yeah, just remember, like, those plasma coils are the hottest thing on that model, so they should be the brightest thing on that model.
And yes, Wad, just a bunch of excuses.
Yes.
That's what we do.
I gave you a bunch of excuses as to why we don't have more video content out.
I mean, technically they are excuses. They're just the valid reasons why we don't have more videos.
Remember, folks, we are not a large company.
Yeah. For review, there are 15 of us in this building.
Yes, there are 15.
And today, there are fewer than that.
It was significantly fewer than that. Because we're still missing Maddie and
both Maddies and Shelby. We lost a Christian to the yuck.
Oh, did he head home?
Yeah.
He was here just before I came in.
Yeah.
He was not looking great when I walked by him.
Oh. Source, I don't know. He's on a call, maybe?
Yeah, he got a phone call. Right as we were
starting
to stream.
He was here for a few minutes and then he left.
Yeah. He's got like other important stuff or something.
Like actual business work.
Oh, hey, he's back.
Important people to talk to.
I'm assuming that's him. My assumption was correct.
What's that?
That's when you live in
that was you
Canada.
opening the door.
We've had this conversation.
Hello, welcome back.
So there you go, Source.
One of those days.
Ask. And he appears.
What's Fuse up to today? What? I was here.
You were here.
Now I'm back. That's how it works some days. I swear to God.
Avian said, question, when I gloss varnish my models, will you want to hear how it goes? Note that I will matte varnish them after that. I just have
Wait,
I don't understand this. I just have bad experiences, or I am plain stupid. That's not, don't say that. When varnishing my models. Yes, I have a clean brush to do it.
I don't understand, Avian. How? What brush? Airbrush or normal brush? And when you say you have a problem putting on varnishings, what happens? Do they fog up for you? Normal brush and like I said, are they fogging up or something weird?
Yeah, the gloss varnish
Wait,
works
so
great.
you're going to put gloss varnish and then you're going to put matte varnish as well?
A lot of people will gloss varnish to then do like a wash or something.
Oh, so
the
something
paint,
in between.
paint flows over. Can be
Yeah.
the only reason I would think that they would do that.
Something will happen in between, Avian?
This is a good question from Broken.
Yeah, if he's doing a wash in between or something like that, then that's fine. But I mean, like I did the gloss wash just real quick on the eyes on our little guy, right? And you see how well that went on. No fogging, no anything happening there. So, you know, you can do an entire model that way and get the gloss to sit really nicely. I don't even, when I'm doing it, I don't worry about thinning or anything like that, you know? You just put it on the model. It's really, really good varnish. So, I don't think you have to worry about it. Don't people often gloss then matte varnish for extra protection? It's kind of a, like a, what do you call that? Not an old wives' tale. Is that what it's called? That, you know, you're talking about varnishes of different protectiveness. Like if you're doing a lacquer, then lacquers are thicker anyway. And so you might, if you're doing a matte that is typically not something you're going to find as a lacquer, you're going to find more acrylics that give you ultra matte finish, then the gloss gives you the protection, the matte gives you the finish. Does that make sense? So from a visual standpoint, you don't want reflection, so you want the matte. But a lot of times matte varnish is not going to be as strong as a really good coat of gloss varnish. That's not the case nowadays. I mean, when we're talking about using acrylic varnishes anyway, neither of them are protective. Well, they're as protective as another layer of paint is. If you put on 2 layers, they're as protective as 2 layers of paint is, right? They're just colorless paint when you're dealing with acrylic, even polys, right? They're not going to be protective in the sense of when we talk about like lacquers or enamels or things like that, like you would put on a clear coat for a car, right, is a different kind of varnish. You know, on models, we typically don't do that because they become so thick that they will fill in detail. And even though that's not a color doing it, it winds up looking like, you know, you dip your model in snot when it dries, right? It just has a weird covering to it.
Broken Chef is asking various artists, how do you fight the urge to compare your work to others?
We always say don't do it, right?
Yeah.
this is a conversation we have all the time in here and across the hobby, is that we're very good as humans in general at comparing ourselves and judging ourselves and others. Our ability to compare and judge outpaces our skill to do the thing we're judging by an enormous rate, almost exponential. So as soon as you get into painting and you start looking around on Instagram and you start looking around on the internet for things that appeal to you, you'll start to recognize what's appealing, and you'll start to recognize quality in that appeal, and you will very quickly outpace your ability to match what you're seeing. And so your judgment will make it seem like you'll never be that good, right? And you can bring that hey, I'm really down on my hobby that should be fun because what I'm doing now doesn't look like what I want it to be. And it's because the things you're going to find on the internet are not all going to be new painters. It's going to be people who are gaining traction, especially with algorithms, right? The only thing you're really going to see is what everybody else looks at.
Yep.
You know, and what everybody else looks at is fantastic stuff. Now, the cool thing is that there's tons of fantastic stuff to look at, but we always preach never compare your work to anything other than your previous work, right? Because the only journey that matters is yours in the growth of that journey. You're not going to know what I'm doing in the background to do my next piece. I mean, you may, because I do it all live on stream. So, you know, when we paint a model, you'll know what my focus is and what we're trying to do different from the last one because we talk about it, right? But in general, you're not going to know what another artist whose pictures you see on the internet is doing and focused on, or time they've spent, or how many years they've been doing it, and all that kind of stuff. So you don't really have a basis, a fundamental basis to compare and contrast your own. You know, and so the only one that you do have 100% of that information on is yourself. So you know what you did on your last model. Is your current model progressing to a point that you're happier with than your last model? If the answer is yes, then you're doing everything right. If the answer is no, then back up, take a moment to address the things that you may have done differently. Maybe you were in a hurry. Maybe the kids were yelling the whole time you were trying to paint. You should have picked a better time to paint. You know, those kinds of things come into play. But, you know, you really just need to compare to your previous work only. Now, hold all of the work you see on the internet up as a guide for where you're trying to get.
Yeah.
And then work towards those things, but don't try to get to the whole picture. Try to get to portions of the picture. Look at Baby J's work that he's doing right now and say, hey, I want to paint snake scales like that. Don't say, hey, I want to paint like Baby J, right? Because there's a lot that goes into learning a technique and a style that becomes one's own, but you could definitely learn to paint snake scales like he's done on that snake, right? Focus on what he's done, where he's placed his light, what colors he's used. You could recreate that exact job no matter how long you've been painting, right? Now, the whole model might not look like Baby J's model, right? Because you still have a long way to go to learn the other parts of it. But start with those small things. Learn those techniques. Maybe it starts with blending. Maybe it starts with color choice, right? Maybe it starts with light placement. Whatever it is that you're focused on at the time. But just take it piece by piece. Don't ever compare, you know, the whole, and just make those strides. Because eventually you'll get it, and it'll just start clicking, right? For us, we always talk about it being reproducing light. You know, basically creating a fake light on the model that makes it seem like more realistic than it is. It's just a piece of plastic. You know, but put it into a scene that matches its scale, bring some drama to it, all that, and you start telling stories. And when you start telling stories, you'll notice that your miniatures really feel like all those other miniatures you see on the internet. It becomes less a matter of quality of paint job from a skill perspective necessarily, right? Like, you can have a very sketchy style versus a very super hyper blended style like Mashik, you know, or something like that. But you both feel like you're at the same kind of level of storytelling, and that's when models start to feel really good.
Yes. Yeah, it's important to use, you know, other people's work as aspiration, not as a line to be across. Like, I look at other people's work who are better than me all the time, and I'm like, that's freaking awesome. And I look at the things that they're doing that I'm not, and I go, these are the things that I can do better.
Yeah, make a conscious decision to start looking at something that you think they do better than you, but only do it one at a time.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of it has to do with the perspective that you are taking with your work and your urge to get better. If you always make it about like pushing yourself to be better than you were before, look at everybody's work. I mean, that's why a lot of people love to go to museum, like artists love to go to museums. They look at stuff that, people were doing, hundreds of years ago, and they're like, man, that's awesome. I should take a bit of that and learn something from it. Take it like that, but don't try and just be like, okay, there's so many, like you said, there's so many steps along that road to get from step A to step B, or from step A to step Z, that like you can't expect it to all happen immediately.
Yeah. Well, I think Xenophonetics term, like he says, stop looking at other people's work unless it's a tutorial for color schemes, and I think that that's also a problem, because if you do what Baby J and I are talking about, and you refine your own focus into just your work for where you judge, right, then you can look at everything else for inspiration. Because inspiration is one of the greatest things we have in the world as artists, is everything's inspiration, from the color of a car that just drove by, or the way the light's hitting a building at a particular time of day. All of that is meaningful. Every miniature you look at has the opportunity to bring inspiration to your own work. It may be that you're in a hobby slump, and it just seeing some of those pictures invigorates you to get back under the brush. Those are really important things. So I would never tell anybody, don't look at anybody else's stuff. I think you just need to frame your thinking correctly, so that looking at other people's stuff is the benefit that it should be, rather than some sort of a downer, right? But that's all individual to individual. You got to get right with yourself in order for that to work, and that's the reality. Omicron says he feels like he's talking to me about painting with the kid thing. I'm in this picture and I don't like it. Lion Creative, yeah, use others as inspiration, but putting paint on the model is the goal. Definitely. Yeah, but that's where the inspiration comes in, right? Because I know a lot of times we'll get sick of, especially as army painters, right? One of the biggest bummers in our industry is that you go to, sit down and paint 2,000 points of enter army name here, and you get about 250 points through, and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to do this anymore, right? So how can you make that fun? How can you create a process that makes it go quickly, makes it seem like you're making progress, makes it look good, all those things? And that's part of the technique, finding your technique. We talk about it, like how to paint quickly, how to focus on a model and do it display quality. All those are different things, and take different styles of painting to make work. Wad says, I too want to be in scale jail. No, you don't.
Trust me, it's worth it and not worth it at the same time.
No, you
Bobson Dugnut has been catching scale gel in bits and pieces, and Chef's Kiss, that's just gorgeous.
Why, thank you.
Bobson.
I've been hard at work. This is, and it's funny because this is one of those pieces for me that, like, this is probably better than most of the work that I've ever done. But it's because I found something that was really exciting to work on, and I've been, like, pushing myself on all the little bits and pieces of the model. Like, I've hated this headdress until about 5 minutes ago. I've touched it a few times over the course of me working on this model, and I have never been happy with it until about 2 or 3 minutes ago.
The way you make army painting fun is play skirmish games. I mean, yes, if that's what you like.
Also, yeah.
But yeah, taking breaks, Broken Chef, you name it. OnePlus says, I like to pay attention to things you like and pull from that. For example, the AMV Starship Velociraptor is an awesome synthwave extravaganza. Those are words that should never be in the same sentence together, I don't think.
I heard a lot of that means. Very interesting combinations of words there.
I don't know what any of that means. Somebody was asking up above if we were enjoying Armored Core 6. I didn't buy it.
I have also not bought it.
While it looks cool, it doesn't seem like a game I would enjoy.
Same.
So I don't know that I'll ever play it. Plus, I'm not in the habit of buying $70 games. When I can spend $10 and play Noita forever.
That's true. You can do that. You have been doing that.
I sat with my head in my hands.
Oh no.
For a good few minutes yesterday.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Did you die again?
Oh yeah.
Bummer.
Yeah. There are areas in the Hisi base where they have, I think they call them, they're canisters, and I think they're like nitrogen canisters or something. You hit them and they blow up, and they make freezing toxic gas.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah, the explosion will kill you dead out most of the time, and if not, the big cloud of toxic gas does like super damage in every tick. And they look like they look like Russian nesting dolls. It's like this purple thing that's always standing up, and it looks like a Russian nesting doll. It kind of has almost like because it looks like a propane tank, I think is what they're called.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's a propane tank. So they're all over the Hisi base, and you can use them. You can shoot them and blow them up if you position correctly, and they'll kill everything around them, all the bad guys. So.
But they also kill you pretty good too.
Well, yeah, and they have a tendency to hide them in snow drifts. The Hisi base is a snow biome, so there's lots of snow there.
Got it. Okay.
And so you could see the portal to get to the Holy Mountain, and I had to shoot through this snowdrift to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And I always look at the snowdrifts because you can see a little bit of the purple propane tank sticking out sometimes.
Sticking out of the tip.
So you'll back up and shoot it and let the propane tank blow up. There was no propane tank there visibly, and so I walked right up to it and shot it, and there was a propane tank there. And that ended my run. And I was no enemies. Had cleared all the enemies. The glowing circle of freedom was on the screen probably 4 inches from my dead body.
Sounds like, are you talking about Noida?
Yes.
FromSoft is one of the few devs that deserve to be supported in this day and age. They're fighting the good fight of feature complete games 1+. Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh goodness gracious, let me tell you.
Definitely. Tell them to make us an Elden Ring expansion.
They're working on it, but who knows when they'll be done with it.
Never.
I just hope that when we do get it, it's like tons of content.
Like another game's worth?
It doesn't have to be an entire another game's worth, but like enough that I can get a whole nother playthrough through incorporating all of the new stuff.
Yeah. Agreed. Like, I love that FromSoft and who is it that did Baldur's Gate? Both those companies are getting slammed for making feature-complete games by everybody else in the industry that can't seem to make feature-complete
They're getting
games.
slammed?
Oh, yeah, the
How so?
other manufacturers. Did you not hear, like, when Elden Ring got all its accolades, that a bunch of other game manufacturers were slamming FromSoft for creating a game like that, and what a bad exploration in game design, and it was all companies that can't deliver feature-complete games. And the same thing is happening to the group that did Baldur's Gate right now, because Baldur's Gate's getting all these accolades, more concurrent players on Steam than ever before, and all of this stuff. And it's all companies that, wait for it, can't make feature-complete games.
Ugh, my God.
It's like, show us on the doll, you know?
That's so funny. It's just like...
It falls apart towards the end of the campaign. Baldur's Gate does. I don't know. I just don't like it. This is not for me, I don't think. You thought they announced an Elden Ring expansion for 2024. They announced an Elden Ring expansion. In video game terms, coming soon means nothing.
Yeah, that's so true. It's so true.
Right? If there's one thing you can take from video game manufacturers is that they lie. Or they don't lie. They just aren't in the game of making statements that make any sense. You know, we're going to make this thing. You're going to get it sometime before the sun burns out, is what they should say.
Yeah.
Instead, they say, coming 2024. When? That goes from early to mid to late to 2025 very quickly.
Also to even later than that, if they're really feeling spicy.
You know. And then they come out with a lot of spin doctoring as to why.
Yep.
We feel like this game just really, it's so good that we really just need to make sure we don't release it half-baked.
Yep. Yep. We
Only
don't
to
want
then release
to make
it
you
half-baked.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you, Destiny people.
Oh my gosh, Destiny's been getting a pretty rough go of it because their devs can't make a game that their customers want. Which is always the tough part, right? You're like, you as a game developer want to make a game that you want to make, but it turns out you have to make a game that other people want to play. Because at the end of the day, you gotta like sell copies of it.
Well, and especially when you're making one that has expansions and
Yeah.
content that keeps going.
At a certain point, you gotta like bow to the concept of like you gotta make a game that your customer base is interested in actually playing.
Yeah.
And I feel like Destiny is.
This is true of all games.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
I don't think video games are the only ones that suffer. Tabletop games suffer.
Absolutely.
Games Workshop, we're looking at you.
Games Workshop, we are looking deeply into your eyes.
Lion Creative wants to know a good alternative to red demon skin. I like to change up the norms and don't really want to paint red skin.
Orange,
Purple.
like reddish orange, is a really good way to kind of stay in the feel of demon skin, but not have to go full bore red. Red devil red. Oranges give you a really good playground to work within. Cool shadow tones on red works really good. The way I've been doing my Blood Angels with Payne's Gray as the shadow color works great. Purple, like Jordan's saying. Depends on what you're looking to get out of it. Uncanny Valley, like flesh tones, work really great with demons. Paint them in human skin tones. That works great for just about anything. Because it brings about that, what the
What am I
heck
looking
am
at
I
here?
looking at?
Oh dear. You ready for Wednesday?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
There's too much to do between now and then for me, so I can't even be thinking about it. I will be thinking about it as I go to the airport.
Go to the
It'll,
airport.
10 p.m. that night.
Yeah.
Did I tell you that the whole reason I had to take the red eye, they informed
you
me
did,
that even though
yeah.
the meeting on the calendar said 2 to 5 o'clock, that they messed up, that it's really that we just each have a 10-minute interview?
Oh, jeez.
10 minutes.
Yep.
I only have to go to my thing on Wednesday for 10 minutes, and that cost me an entire day's of travel.
Yep.
Well, that didn't cost me an entire day of travel, but it makes my entire day of travel that much worse. For a 10-minute interview I gotta go to. Chat! Make it stop.
They have less control over that than you do.
Yeah, I know.
Unfortunately.
I know.
Unfortunately.
Still.
Chat, solve my problems.
Still. I'm not a fan.
I do think it's crazy that they didn't give you a more specific time.
Well, and they just, I'm learning that they just don't, how's a proper way to say this without throwing them under the bus, Jordan style. 'Cause I
Hey.
think that the reality is that they're just not the best wordsmiths. I think their intention is always sent out the way they thought they meant it to be. But like they told everybody, make sure you're there on time because your slot will not be held. But the way they worded it was not be there for your slot, it was be there for the whole time. Be there 2 to 5. So
I was saying they leave for Nova Open on Wednesday.
Gen Con gone and done.
To see you again another year.
Which I heard that they had a con of all the gens that went to Gen Con.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Stole my idea.
Yeah.
There was a Gen Con at...
That was what it was called, Gen Con at Gen Con. Where they tried to get as many Jennifers as possible together at the show. To have Gen Con at Gen Con.
That's both weird and hilarious at the same time.
She seen Jen's face when I showed her or when I read it to her. I didn't show her the article, but I read it to her, and she was like, wait a minute. That's my idea.
Did they steal your idea, John?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did. Well, how dare they?
I'd like to get some royalties, please.
Or at least be invited.
How about just an extra 10 feet added to our booth next year? That'd work.
That would be spectacular, actually.
Instead of in this, sorry, can't take your requests limbo that we seem to be in for the rest of time until we've spent enough money with them to get out. But if you are going to DC for Nova, come hang out with Jordan and I.
It will be a blast.
We'll be all alone, painting by our very lonesomes. There will be some paint for sale at the show via Atlantis Games and Comics.
That's very nice.
Our paint will be in all of the classrooms, as we're sponsoring the classrooms in that way. And if you ever thought you had it all from us and didn't need anything else from Monument Hobbies, Jordan, can you show them one of the cases?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I can.
Chad, I just want you to know what you're going to be missing out if you decided that you're too good for Nova Open.
That was terrible.
That was terrible.
That was terrible. The golden brush cases.
There are 2 golden brush vault winners to be named at Nova. The first
The golden brush
of hopefully
case.
many golden brush vaults.
They look so shiny. Rancid.
These are, do they come in plaid? No.
They only come in black.
They do only come in black.
The gold are limited release,
Yep.
handmade by Jordan over there,
Yep. He's handmade by me.
and will be loaded with cash.
You should have seen him out there panning for the gold.
He
Get
was,
them
too.
gold.
Prospecting.
Yeah.
Those will be for the winners of the Capital Palette in both classes. And they will be loaded with cash. $1,500 in each of them. Baby.
Grant said they only come in black.
Yeah. You cannot get them in gold unless you go to Nova Open and you
do
win
probably have a green and a red, but they only come in black now.
And yeah, all you got to do is win the Capital Palette and you can get one.
Hey, somebody likes us.
So we expect to see you there. Winning the Capital Palette, walking off into the sunset with a golden, the first of one of 2. Keep the cash, you need the brush wallet.
Azira Vesrin. Thank you for that. I'm sorry about how I pronounced your name.
Thank you for the follow.
Thank you so much.
You've got some rich gold. You can make a gold one. We went either way because that's a lot of paint. You'll be buying a lot of rich gold.
True.
Vez is
Cover it.
fine.
Let me take it.
Good to see you, Vez.
A couple of layers me tell you. I spent a good solid amount of time putting some coats of paint on that. Well, actually not a ton, but enough to get the gerb done.
The gerb?
I got the gerb done. Gerb's done.
You did indeed, and I like them a lot.
I'm very happy with how they
Wad
turned
says
out.
his is green because he's cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of want that red one.
I'm pretty cool.
What I need is a signature Baby J purple one.
Signature Baby J purple.
Yep. My favorite color. Purple is my favorite color. I got a purple one.
Selling box skins now. Lion Creative. Yeah, unfortunately, like in the past, we were able to do short runs of the vaults, right? And get them in multiple colors, but that was very short-lived. So now it's one color, black. And so long as you like black, black, or black, you can get yourself one. Well, it says nobody likes to show off, but they do.
They do, though.
Panic Bomb, what's going on? Each individual thread was painted by Baby J. Technically correct.
Some amount of them were.
Now, if you were to say that each thread was entirely painted by Baby J,
That would be
that
a
would
lie.
be up for interpretation. If you were to say that Baby J painted each thread in its entirety, that would be false.
I don't know. I could probably take credit for that one.
Rancid Vomit says, can I have a black with a bit of a gold on it? That's easy, man. I can spill gold paint on your black brush case all day long. Probably not even having to mean to do it.
Talking about accidentally spilling paint on people's brush welts?
You know, I mean, if they just sit them in front of me.
They're like, Jason, I need you to spill paint on this. Like, okay.
I wanted a gold one.
If you want a gold one, you gotta paint it yourself. Or win one, as it so happens. Come to the Nova Open, win the Capital Palette, have your new brush vault.
I mean, how hard can it be?
I don't know.
Once you've won the Capital Palette, you can't win it again.
That's true.
So, if you just wait, eventually everyone can win the Capital Palette. Just wait for everybody you think is better than you to win it, and then enter your stuff, right? Is that how that works? Might not actually be how it works, but I feel like it holds up.
It holds up. This logic, I think, holds up. I was hoping I'd get this done today, but this is taking its sweet time.
You said that Friday.
I did say that Friday. You are correct.
Said that Friday. What you need is an excuse to not have to finish because you're waiting on, I don't know, a vase of dead bodies.
Yep. See. Yeah.
There you go.
Why is Percival not done?
There you go.
Waiting
on damn
dead-
Etsy.
Yeah.
I actually got really excited when I saw the thing that said it's in Arizona.
And then you saw the thing that says, "Not yet."
Just not your part of Arizona.
Yep. Not yet. Are you done with the airbrush for today?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go turn it off. So I don't forget.
I mean, you have signs on the door for that.
Yeah. I'm still gonna... Just in case. Enough to do. Easier to do it now than to do it when I have to rely on me reading a sign. We're so close. The end is nigh.
Gonna have to steal the brush vault from the winner. Got it.
Good luck.
They'll be on eBay within a week. I guess it depends on how big of a deal we make out of it.
The golden brush vault?
Yeah. If we tell the winners that this is the first of the golden brush vaults in existence.
Chuck, we have we do a booth at Adepticon every year for sure, but as far as sponsoring anything, there's usually our paint is usually in some of the painting classes or paint and takes. There's for sure always some prizes out there that are like for tournament prizes, stuff like that.
We have a full rack of paint in the James
Yeah,
Wapple
in the
area
Fort Wapple.
down underneath. We basically do whatever Hank tells us to do. Don't tell him that, but it's kind of the way it works. Hank's like, we sponsor the painting of 100% of the terrain that Adepticon provides for the show. With all of our paints. Outside of just a handful of colors that they use, all the paints, they paint all the terrain with, and Adepticon paints terrain for all sorts of other shows. So an absolute crap ton of the terrain you play on at these shows is painted with our paint. We're suckers, man. We love the hobby. Whatever. What do you want to do? Sounds cool. We're there with you.
That's
within reason. There's some things that sound cool that we're probably not down for. Horns.
Horns.
Horns. He's got horns.
Man, it's been a while since I've been on a plane for 5 hours. This is gonna be
A joyous occasion.
yeah.
I'll finish that sentence for you. It's a
Thank you.
joyous occasion.
Thank you. That's an accurate way to describe it.
It'll be a
For
joyous
sure.
occasion.
Joyous occasion is exactly how I feel about it.
I got to get him on the right base at some point. His base is, but no, it's not quite this big. I think it's like 80 millimeter, right? 65, 80, something like that. He needs a 75 millimeter base.
He's on like a 60 or a 65 right now?
He's on a 65, which is the standard dreadnought, like the normal dreadnought base.
Yeah.
I think the 75 is like or I think it goes to 80 for dreads on the big bases. So I'm not really sure what comes on 75. I think that's that's the same as that. I don't know. There might not be one.
It is for us too. I'm Bess. We're in Arizona. That's a little bit of a trek for these guys.
Yeah, Vez, we're in Phoenix. Anyway, try one of those sprue model dry palettes. Like dry brush texture palette thing. Is that what you're talking about? Works great. When I was first taught dry brushing back in the day for scale model building, you would just take a sprue tree from a model, right? You just take something like this. This still has a bunch of parts on it, right? But you could just take this. You can imagine after you've clipped off all your parts, you just take this and set it on a paper towel, and then you just hold this and it does the same thing. And it's, I mean, you have these, so
Yeah, they're easy to get.
don't feel like you got to buy something. It does the same thing if what you're looking is trying to not, like if you start with a damp brush and then you take most of the paint off on here, you don't lose as much moisture as you do on a paper towel, which I understand. But once you get to where dry brushing is second nature for you, none of that really matters. You learn very quickly how to keep moisture on the dry brush throughout the process very easily. Do I have, what is he asking?
If exactly that, do you have a model with an unpainted plasma gun?
Why?
We were talking about how to paint plasma coils for plasma guns.
Wasn't that Death Spawn?
That was Despot.
Lion Creative.
But I made a
the
comment.
Answer with a brush? With an
Yes.
airbrush?
No, with a brush.
I don't think I do.
I made a comment something to the effect of I would be willing to bet that Jason probably has one lying around here somewhere.
We're kind of done, right? There's Jen. Jen has a plasma incinerator or whatever the hell that thing is called. Plasma blast gun, the big thing. That's Jen. Jen Marine. I think a bunch of my Dark Angels have them, but I think we took and painted the whole squad of plasma guys because I painted them to show off how to do quick and dirty OSL with transparent white.
Coffee house. Thank you for the follow. We don't do it. Are there any big shows in California? We don't have any that we go there.
Not really anymore.
for.
In what?
In California.
California.
Shows in California. Kingdom Con used to be
LVL
there.
would be the closest. They
But
don't
it's been a
have
while.
Kingdom Con anymore. I
Yeah,
don't-
Kingdom
Yeah.
Con
That went
folded
away,
during or right before or during COVID.
Yeah.
It was before,
Um,
like the year we went was the last year, and that was
Well,
that was
the
before
person
COVID.
who ran it retired, if I recall, and they didn't sell it to anybody. Something to that effect.
But
Which is a shame. I liked that show. It was a cool show.
yeah, I think it suffered from never really having a monetary, like a commercial side.
Yeah, it was pretty light on that side. I mean, it had vendors at it, but it was.
OnePlus says macro plasma incinerator. Is that what that is? Can you get you a Jen head? She can be the leader of your army.
Nope, limited editions.
They were very
Limited
limited
edition
edition, not
rules.
making another run.
Hellspawn, who painted
Can
what?
you imagine if you went to the monument site and it was just like a sprue of Jason and Jen
Ugh.
heads?
Jen's like, ugh.
Nobody wants that.
Just randomly turning up on the internet. I don't want to know what people would put my head on.
Exactly.
I
Be
feel,
involved in that.
I feel like while there could be some fun there, there's probably also some people that I don't want to see do that.
Hellspawn, to what are you referring? The plasma gun that Jason?
That's what I asked.
Yeah. Baby J's for my birthday. Monument Hobbies Hydra?
The Monument Hobbies Hydra with all faces on it. Just
Oh,
get like a Hydra
Oh.
model and cut the heads off and put Jason and Jen heads on the Hydra. That would be
that's
awesome.
Jordan. That's the sacrifice
The
from
snack.
Neck Lady.
Mindwork Games.
The snack.
You can get one for yourself at monumenthobbies.com.
Bez says, yeah, I think the only cons still going are for comics, TVs, movies, etc. in California. There's the Bay Area Open for tournament play. but I don't know that they have anything other than local vendors there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of tournaments and stuff.
Yeah.
That
But they're usually
we
thrown by
support with
stores, so it's
prizes.
not a big deal, you know?
They don't have big vendor halls.
The Las Vegas Open is the biggest thing you're going to get close to California. And LVO grows every year, so it's definitely worth checking out. The vendor area is still a little constrained, but it's fun.
Yeah, they moved it last year, right? It's in a new spot now? Or a new
No, it was in
hotel?
the same. It's a new hotel.
Yeah, it's no longer in Bally's.
Correct. The past 2 years have been in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I missed it
Rio.
for the last couple of years.
Yeah, they moved to the Rio after COVID. I think that during that time, Bally started charging more, or they lost their slot because
Bally's was
somebody
a
else paid to take
Pain
that
in the
weekend.
butt.
What's that?
It was a pain in the butt to be at Bally's.
Really?
It's not much better to be at the Rio, but it's better.
Bally's at least was a nicer hotel.
It was a
but
nicer hotel. It was closer to everything. That part of it was good, but they were.
Well, they were
pretty
like the drink,
hardcore.
the drink
Yeah.
Nazis and stuff. The Bally's really held you accountable for like, hey, you're not allowed to bring drinks
Like
into the show floor.
they wanted
yeah.
everybody to buy from their
Yeah.
concession stands, and that's
You
it.
couldn't bring the Starbucks, which was in Bally's hotel,
Bally's.
into the convention area because they had a line for coffee, and it
Yeah.
was literally coffee. Like you got
crap
black coffee.
It was like instant coffee. It
and
was disgusting.
it was like Folgers crystals.
And the food
We thought Jen
choices
was going to go to jail once.
were chicken tenders,
Oh my God.
burgers.
I have to eat them. That's
and
why I
hot
don't like
dogs.
chicken tenders anymore.
Yeah, I almost got kicked out.
Yeah, it was not a good place.
I always used to just go to the that pizza place between the Paris and Bally's.
Well, but when you
Can't bring it back in.
like, you need to get stuff inside Bally's because you're working in a booth all day,
Oh,
and you
yeah.
want to be able to go out into Bally's where they have decent food,
Yeah.
but they don't let you do that.
Luckily, the last couple of times I went, we had enough time to actually like leave the booth and go get food.
They hired mall cop rejects whose only job was to stand at the entrance to the entirety of LVO and monitor people for what could be
Food and drink.
conspicuous drinks or food in your backpack.
Yep.
They would ask people to open their bags,
So annoying.
and they'd keep you out. You'd have to eat and drink all your stuff and throw it away before you went in, kind of like the security line at the airport. But that's how they got there so cheap. I think that's one of the reasons they left, is because the Rio doesn't have such stringent clauses.
Or are they more friendly with food and drink and stuff now?
Well, they just also know that there's nothing there. I mean, there's nothing in the Rio.
I think that the Rio, even though they do have a food line there, you're okay with stuff from the rest of the Rio hotel, right? I mean, I guess you could bring stuff from outside, but we could go get Smash Burger and they were fine
Well,
with it.
I always put it in my backpack though.
Oh, yeah,
because
maybe.
they did.
But we
That's
walked
right. They
straight
did
in with
though.
our Starbucks.
No, well, yeah, the Starbucks I think maybe they were okay with, but they did have a guy standing.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I'm
maybe
remembering
so. Maybe
this
same
now.
thing. They charge you. They charge you a lot for a venue if they don't get to make money on it from the purchases from the people that are there, which seems weird when it's at a hotel in Vegas because people are spending money the whole time they're in your hotel at Vegas on everything your hotel has to offer. So whether or not they buy your microwave sandwiches or not seems a little a little petty.
It's Vegas though.
You got a talking to at Adepticon for bringing a couple of Dunkin' Donuts in a few years ago. Oh, really?
That Adepticon?
I wouldn't think Adepticon was
That's
a problem.
wild.
Yeah.
Adepticon literally has no hotel personnel that pay
Yeah,
attention
they don't
to it.
care. Well, because it's a convention center. It's not a hotel. So
Yeah.
maybe that makes a difference. I don't know. It's 1:57. You guys need a time check.
Hellspawn says, do you seal it as you go at any point in case you make a mistake, or do you just go from start to finish? When I paint my models, I go from start to finish unless there's a necessity for some technique I'm doing to put a varnish layer over the top beforehand, but I can't think of anything right off hand that I would do that for. When I use washes, I don't gloss varnish before the wash. You could, but I don't choose to.
And I don't believe Jordan has done any kind of varnish on
No.
this yet.
No.
Mm-mm. No, we both typically just paint all the way through. We're not heavy wash users, though.
No.
When we're using washes, a lot of times myself and Jordan will do more like this, where you're filtering on an effect like this rust. I made a wash to do that. So I'm not looking for it to do like a whole filter over my model at a stage where if that filter is a little heavy in spots, it ruins anything. If I'm doing full model filters, it's generally early on. Like I did a full model Payne's Gray filter over the skin early on the rhino hide to give it a little bit of cool nature in the upper highlights, right?
Yeah, filters for me, with regards to, like, I would do like glaze filters at this stage, but I would never do like a wash filter. If I were to do wash filters, that would be like you said, much earlier on in the process, where you didn't have to worry about messing up work that you've already done.
Yeah.
Because like if I messed up the skin at this point, I'd be pissed.
Oh yeah.
It's like the amount of like work and effort that would go into me like remixing the exact like shade of color after it's already been glazed over. Because like trying to match a color that you've like glazed over is a pain in the butt because it sits a little differently. And the smoothness of the blend.
Which is why you use our glazed wash medium, because then you can mix your colors in with it. You had a large box, but only 2 donuts left, so they let you through because they were bummed they couldn't steal donuts from you. Is that what you're saying? They were just stopping you because you had big Dunkin' boxes, hoping to charge you a Dunkin' tax.
Yeah, there
was going to be a donut tax,
Dunkin' Donuts, please?
And the only reason they got a talking at is because you didn't have donuts for them. PK, you got to remember to do better next time. You gotta bring payoff donuts.
Yep. You buy yourself a dozen, and then you buy a dozen for the friends at the gate.
You'll pay the donut tax next time. Just get one of those small bags of like donut holes. Throw it at them real quick to distract them. Then run past, laughing hysterically. It'll work. 60% of the time, it works every time.
Be careful using this on actual cops.
On actual cops.
Yeah, avoid doing that.
It might work better.
Well, it depends. Do you know said cop? Is this like a local cop in your neighborhood?
I love that every now and then on the internet I see these like reels or whatever where like an actual police officer will get in on the joke and do something fun. Like you'll see him playing basketball with kids. Or like running a down and out, protective thing with the kids in the street or something like that.
Yeah.
Or doing a funny like pull you over or frisk you on the side of the road on the cop car thing.
Yeah,
I like to know that can happen in the world. That there's cops that are just standing around on their lunch break. That's like, hey, would you mind doing a fun reel with me?
Yeah.
And as long as it's not like derogatory towards police officers, that it it would be fun to do.
Yeah.
Grease the wheels with donuts. All right, gang. I think that's it for us.
That is it. Oh,
that is Monday in the books. I feel like I was here for about 15 minutes.
You were here for probably half an hour, 45.
Maybe an hour total.
Yeah.
I primed a model that I'm taking to Nova, so if you're going to Nova Open, you will see me painting this guy. This Diablo-esque duder.
She is pretty much done.
I don't know what other models I'll bring. I might bring the Rhino, just to have, so people can see some of the models from our game we're developing.
I might bring a squad.
I think Percival has to travel with me. It would really be nice if Percival's mound of bodies showed up tomorrow, because then I could prime them. Well, they might show up because I leave at, did I mention that I fly at 11:30 on Wednesday? So if they show up on Wednesday, if I'm not completely dead, I might be able to...
I mean, we can always swap. You can take my seat on Tuesday or on Wednesday morning, and I'll take the red eye for you. But then I have to go to that weird meeting that for 10 minutes in the middle of in the middle of the day.
Dude, that would be funny if I sent you to that meeting. No, I'm definitely the same guy that was here last week.
Yeah.
It's
you
fine.
You know who I am, right? Yeah,
it's
of course.
Fine.
Doug, we'll raid someone good. Don't worry. Lots of hobby goodness out there.
We'll bring Percival. Percival and the Rhino. I'll probably grab some other minis to bring.
Yeah, I gotta figure out what I'm bringing.
But thanks so much for hanging out with us. Sorry I wasn't able to catch up with the whole show. Meetings are killing me lately. But hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. We are starting it all over again this week. Remember, we normally stream 5 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday today, like we did 12 noon Pacific till 2 p.m. This week, we are doing Monday, Tuesday, and then I will hopefully be streaming solo on Wednesday because Jordan will be leaving for Nova. But that's our plan right now. And then Thursday, Friday, we will not be live. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we normally stream 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., so that'll be like tomorrow. And then Monday, of course, is the Labor Day holiday recognized, and we don't have a show planned then because we'll be traveling back from Nova. So the next time you will see Jordan after tomorrow is the following Tuesday. But once we're back and into some form of normal, we'll get grooving again. Make sure to check out all the links that Jen threw up there, the Discord, the store, and the local game store finder. Make sure to give Monument Hobbies products a try next time you get a chance. It's Zambies. Zambies! Well, everyone have a wonderful night. Make sure to show some love in the stream we wind up rating, and we will catch you back here tomorrow. Adios, gang. We're out of here.
Bye.